The happiness hypothesis was basically about Buddhism and Stoicism. And so the Buddhists and the Stoics gave us these wonderful insights. It's not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of their significance. This is the most widespread piece of wisdom around the world, that we don't experience the world as it is, we experience the world through the filters and distortions, cognitive distortions that we impose on it. Buddha said something similar: your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded. But once mastered, once you learn to control your thoughts, as Greg did when he learned CBT, no one can help you as much, not even your father or your mother. Aaron Beck, one of the founders of CBT, basically took these insights and taught people Stoic and Buddhist practices to free themselves from distortions, and the results are miraculous. We have a list of common distortions in our Atlantic article: catastrophizing, overgeneralizing, emotional reasoning, letting your feelings guide your interpretation of reality. Many of the new practices on college campuses are based on violations of the ancient truth. They are based on the idea that if you feel it, it is real, it is true, and you should respond as if it is true. Bad idea number 3. Life is a battle between good people and evil people. And this is straight out of chapter 4. So it's as though somebody on college campuses read the happiness hypothesis and then just decided, let's just do the opposite. Let's just do the opposite of everything the ancients ever told us to do. Let's just reject it. And so this one is that we are in fact all prone to dichotomous thinking and tribalism. This is human nature. It doesn't mean we have to live that way, but that's our default. And we should be trying to reduce it, not ramp it up. And so Alexander Solzhenitsyn said it so beautifully when he's describing his time in the prison camps, in the gulags in the Soviet Union, and he talks about how he could just as easily have been a guard as he is a prisoner being marched to his probable death. And he says, but the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. And we all know that this is true. Upon reflection, we all know that this is true.
Narrative identity theory. It's a psychological and philosophically based idea of how identity is created in part through the stories we tell about ourselves. And when it comes to narrative warfare, the difference, I think, if I understand what information warfare is, I think the difference is that narrative warfare isn't really warfare over the information, but it's warfare or struggle or conflict over the meaning of the information. So that means, for example, when disinformation takes, when people or individuals just stick to their belief in certain disinformation despite facts and truths and statistics and information you can give them to the opposite, they do that because the disinformation is more meaningful to them than the information, than the truth. And what does that mean, more meaningful? Ultimately, bottom line, what it means is it promotes and boosts their sense of self. It's their identity that it's meaningful to.